If you don't know who Funktacular is, you probably don't live in Tasmania. I'm talking to Simon today about his journey in photography and some of the philosophies that have brought him this far. Welcome, Simon.
Thanks again.
Yeah. No, it's really great. We've done this before, haven't we?
We have done this before.
Yeah. Let's just say I had some technical difficulties.
As always happens.
That's right.
I'm Simon from Funktacular Photography and I love landscape photography. See, I would normally say I just love photography because I think that that's the key, that people get caught up in this little niche of landscape or portraits or whatever.
Absolutely.
Wouldn't want to be anywhere else. I'm probably now going to want filters. Yeah, there's been some rain last night because that's washing through. It's hard because that light is so harsh in that one spot and the rest of it's so dark.
Now, I hope you like black coffee.
Yep, sounds fine by me. Oh, I can smell it, that's perfect. Ah, yes. I put that much in mine like that with a dash of milk and that's it.
Really?
That's how I have it.
Oh my God.
So.
You mentioned last week that you got started, like really started to get inspired by going out on nighttime walks.
Yeah. Yeah, so I used to go to a place called Ash Island. Yeah, I'd just go and walk around and do light painting and do all different things and yeah, and I just used that to my advantage as well to move on with what was happening in my life as well. So you get out and you get, take 150 photos and then you get one photo when you're like, damn, I really like that.
Yeah.
And that's the thing you keep looking for.
Did you initially start during the day as well, or were you just...
Yeah, I did, because then I was still always drawn to the beach and the surf. So I used to surf at a place called Box Beach up at Nelson's Bay, and yeah, I remember going back up there for the first time in many, many years, and that really then grabbed me and got me taking more surf photography again. So got me back to the beach and back to the ocean.
You got started only 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Is it just the sunsets that you like doing, or?
I would go and take photos of everything.
Yeah.
So when I first started, I think I liked getting as creative as I could. And so whether that was filling bowls with water and dropping chestnuts into the water with a torch, just all different creative things, but it's always nature and sunrise that always sort of draws me in the most.
Tell us about this camera of yours.
So this camera is the Lumix S5 II. So it's what they class as a hybrid camera.
Yeah.
So records great video, does great photography as well. It's 24 megapixel full frame, phase detect autofocus.
You work in a camera shop, you know everything.
Has high resolution mode, so it turns it into a 96 megapixel camera through pixel shift. So it basically takes 8 images and slightly shifts and stitches them all together. So yeah, this is a fun camera, it's great to use, easy to use, has amazing dynamic range, and easy to get excellent results from.
What is the technique that's taken you the longest to master?
Well, if we're talking about, I guess most nature shots and sunrise, sunset, being out like on a morning like this as well is exposure, getting the exposure right. Yeah. So how you decide to shoot that, whether it be with filters or without filters, or so many things that I don't know near enough about. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a lot of people wouldn't even think about that stuff. They just press the button and it's autofocus or whatever, and it's like, yep, that's where it's focused. And a lot of people, I was talking to a guy yesterday who's was out taking photos of the mountains and stuff. He's like, why is that not in focus? Why is this not in focus? And it was because he had autofocus on in a zone, and it's focusing on something over there in the corner. And
the camera decides what it's going to do.
Yeah. So it's more about controlling the camera than letting it control the shot. So I try to find new things all the time to be learning and getting better at. So.
Yeah. Having learned your techniques and still learning your techniques, what's the biggest lesson that you've learned? And it doesn't even have to be camera techniques, but just in general.
Create your own style.
Yeah.
I think that's the most important, because nowadays there are so many people that own cameras, there's so many people that own phones, everybody has a device to take photos with.
Yes.
And so if you don't create and have your own style, your photos are going to just look like everybody else's. As long as you continue creating that style and working on your craft.
And sometimes to get that style, you need to mimic someone else that you like.
It's all about mimicking.
Yeah.
It's all about going to places that other people have already been to.
Yeah.
And it's pretty rare in this world that you can find a place that nobody's been and taken a photo of. So it's all mimicking.
There is nothing wrong with those classic compositions of famous places. That's the photo people take for a reason. Because it is so amazing.
When we moved to Tasmania, I looked at all those places. I looked at all those photos. We moved to the suburb that we moved to because I looked at the photos of the beach that people had taken at sunrise. And thanks, Denny, I appreciate it. And that's what it's all about. It's all about mimicking. You see other people's photos and creating your own version of that. And I think within creating that, your own feel and your own look, that also determines, the exposure and the shutter speed and everything like that as well. So you can see a composition in front of you and go, okay, this needs this.
Yeah.
And that's working on your craft.
What are your inspirations?
I look at a lot of different photographers and what a lot of different photographers do. I don't shoot a lot of black and white, but I like people like Ansel Adams, for example.
Oh, yes.
And the way that he captured it and the way that he manipulated the film afterwards to create the scene that he wanted to create in his head.
What about like modern photographers?
I like different landscape photography, so not necessarily your traditional, there's the sun, there's the clouds, there's the waves crashing on the beach, which I always do almost every day. But your different stuff like looking down at a landscape, looking down at the sand dunes and things like that, because that's the thinking outside the box.
What about local photographers? Are there any that you actually, that you admire?
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of local photographers that do a great job. I love Jill's work, Tassie Apple Spice. Love what she does and love who she is as a person and the way and the why she does things. I think it's fantastic. Denny that lives over here as well. Yeah, I think he's got a bit of a different perspective on not taking things and yourself too seriously, and I think that's a really important thing. So,
absolutely.
Shout out Denny, shout out. There's so many cool different things that you can get with the macro lens and different scenes, different perspectives, even just like the trees in the shot like that.
Yeah.
It really makes a difference using a fixed focal lens like that.
I find it's a really great portrait lens as well.
Yeah, 100%. And now we'll cue to a portrait shot that I took. And the great thing is you can then switch straight over and get in close to like the lichens and that here.
That's right.
That looks so cool.
Well, from learning, what's your biggest mistake? Or most embarrassing even?
Most embarrassing. It's probably the photos that you post early on with all the colours and the rainbow of colours. I'm going to say not being humble. And we've had this discussion this morning. And I think that's a very important thing, is being humble. Whether that's just getting older and wiser, I don't know. But I think being humble in what you do and being gracious, especially if people make comments or things like that about your photography, being gracious and being humble.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the biggest mistake, obviously, is not being humble or gracious. Yeah.
And again, it's that early day, isn't it, where you're posting all that amazing, oversaturated everything, and you think you are so good.
Yeah. And I think that's, once again, a very important thing is, I don't care how good you think you are. Don't go and knock somebody else.
No.
Just because they're learning and going through that phase and loving it and enjoying it, because you might ruin that for them forever. Nobody has that right to do that. And so there's a very simple way to fix that problem.
Yeah.
When you're looking at social media, you just keep scrolling to the next one. It's that simple.
Yeah.
I've had times where people have asked for constructive criticism, and I will only give it if it's somebody that I know and I know is going to take it the right way.
Yeah.
I'm not going to put it out there for everybody else to critique and see. If it's a personal critique, then I'll send it to them in a message. But that's a rarity as well. I see different colours and I can see different things that look normal to me, but they may not look the same to you. So yeah, reds and greens, if there's reds and greens together, cannot see the difference. Yeah, and then colours, I guess, like post-processing and stuff like that, it's being careful that I don't push things too far. That's a good thing, because then I'm keeping everything more natural. And I quite often, like with last weekend's sunrise, where it's so bright orange, and even this morning's will be the same, actually turning the vibrance and the saturation down and then working back from there.
What's your favourite quick and dirty tip?
When you've got the perfect shot right there in front of you, turn around and look the other way.
Oh, absolutely.
Right, that's number one. Always turn around and look the other way. We did the same thing this morning up there. Yep. Turn around, look the other way, because you never know what's behind you. This is a winner, seriously.
Oh, just look behind you.
That is a winner, seriously. That is so good. And there's a rainbow, come on, please.
Oh, god damn.
Please. Gonna have to be quick because of the spots of rain. Well, that's just hard to beat as it is. I'll go one shot. Oh, it's covered. I actually like having the trees on the side, the rocks in the center. You can still see the chair. I'm just trying to frame as much of it as I can, basically. And obviously the rocks, like you were saying up there, are just spectacular. If we can get that light back again, if you could just turn that light back on for us for a minute. Yeah, I like that framing, honestly, with the trees on either side.
Yeah, it's classic, isn't it?
And we had the light right in the middle there, which was just, yeah, it's perfect. And the mist coming over the top. Wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
That's right.
That perspective really works well.
That's gorgeous, yeah, with those trees in the foreground.
And as you can see, I dramatically underexpose everything. Yeah, but see, that's the thing. It was so hard to not get the highlights blown out there.
Yeah, I love the water.
Yeah. It looked so good. That was such a good spot, really.
Yeah. And I love the way the foam is just hanging on the rocks.
Yeah, and then every now and then there was these little bits that trickled down. It was so good. When you're in the moment and you're capturing the shots, do something completely different. Do a 1.5 second shot where you zoom the lens back out. Move the camera sideways, up and down, whatever. Do something different, get a different result. They will be the shots that you will play with the most afterwards and love the most, because it's something different. I usually work on hyperfocal distance.
Okay, yeah.
And in that shot there then, I'm the first few at least, I had that wrong. Definitely had it wrong.
Yeah.
So I had it more in the middle of the water, where it should have been more towards this rock here.
Yep.
To get the hyperfocal distance right. And I looked at a couple of them and all this is all blurred out, so that was wrong. The moment catches your mind and you forget about what you're doing and you're concentrating on what's happening around you.
That's
You're
right.
Like, oh, hang on a second. There's no reason, especially with a wide angle lens on, why your camera cannot capture the whole scene in focus.
For sure.
In one shot.
Yeah.
And that's it. Hyperfocal distance. You work out in your camera, getting to know your camera, where the hyperfocal distance is, and you can nail it every time.
Yep. One thing you did was you stayed longer in that one spot, looking down towards the sun. And again, my failing is I've looked at the scene, I've gone, that's done. I'm not going to see anything else. And then you turn around and there it is. And
I like that shot. Oh, look, we're getting colour now. Just hold on, we're going to get colour now.
See, this is my problem.
This is going to happen.
You've got it, you know, stay.
This is going to happen.
All right, I'm coming back.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, that light's really coming out.
Yeah,
there,
look at that now.
There's
Whoa.
some beautiful colour in there.
Yeah, that is spectacular. I used to go out for a shoot for sunrise, for example. And I would get there and I'd be like, okay, here's the scene in front of me. This is what I'm going to... There's a shot over there, there's one there, there's one there, there's a shot there, there's one there, there's one there. And in the next 5 minutes, I would run around as fast as I could, trying to get every one of those shots in the hope that you've got one decent shot.
Yes.
And you actually miss the shot that's right there in front of you. It's just sitting in the one spot and getting the shot. Yeah, it's interesting because I was the same up there because it was new to me. There was so much to look at and see, but I think subconsciously I was just like, no, we just need to stay here for a minute or two longer to play it out and just to see what happened. And yeah, as it turns out,
I think that was the magic moment.
There'll be award-winning shots. So, for sure.
It'll be a competition between you and me.
Yeah. Award-winning. Yeah.
How do you maintain your enthusiasm when you also work in a camera shop?
I like being able to share the wealth. So I like being able to share knowledge so that people can get better and get more enthusiastic about what they do. I like being able to tell people about the different places, especially if it's someone who is here for the one and only time, you know, trip of a lifetime in Tasmania, and they're from the other side of the world, and you give them a tiny little snippet of a place to go and see, and it's a cool thing, and that keeps me enthusiastic, knowing that you're sort of sharing the wealth, I guess.
Oh, nice. So where do you take them? If you got just a small window of time with them?
It's either the beaches or somewhere in the bush, somewhere nice and close as well. I mean, everywhere's got beaches, but everywhere's beaches are different. You go to a place like Blackman's Bay and you can get it with nobody else there, and it looks like you're out in the middle of nowhere at this secluded beach when you're right in the middle of the suburbs.
Do you have any secret spots?
Lots of secret spots. No, I don't really. There's no secret spots anymore because everybody's been there.
Or a favourite spot that you like to go to?
Secret Falls.
Yeah?
Yeah. The secret.
The absolutely non-secret spot.
And that's what it's all about. Yeah, no, I don't have anywhere in particular because I'm still learning about Tasmania and the different places. So everywhere we go is just unbelievable. We scored, mate. We have scored.
Thank you very much.
No worries, thank you. Thanks for having me, appreciate it.
Really great to have you. Yeah, I look forward to telling the world about your work.
Yeah, can't wait to see it.
Brilliant.
Thanks, Peter.
Thank you. All right, look.
Cheers.
Cheers. Well, this is it.
Here we are at Lake Osborne.
Here we are.
Yeah, I've narrowed it down to about 5 tripods now. Seriously, tripods, I have so many tripods.
I've got to admit, if we weren't doing this together, I would have rolled over in bed and gone, no.
Yeah, same probably. May have ducked down to Blackman's Bay, that would have been about it for me. Oh, camera issues.